Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome to the 172nd, Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic, who just couldn't believe that number coming out of his mouth.
Me neither.
With co-host Andrew Norman, my main man, and hashtag LLA.
You already know.
Today's topic, chosen by Andrew, is the law of reciprocity. Would you share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you're happy to discuss this here today?
Absolutely. Little background story, though. The law of reciprocity. There's a gentleman in my life that's very, very special to me. He was a therapist of mine that helped bridge the gap between like me being a raging lunatic and active addiction into, he's my middleman in between me getting my life back and me, doing what I was doing. And his big thing, I'm almost on a daily basis when I saw him, he hit me with this law of reciprocity. And he said it in a way that was like, it's kind of funny. And he really, really taught me about this over the long term because this guy's really, really special to me. He would talk with my mother, my family, and there were a couple times when my family wanted to walk away from me, and this man was there for me. And it's really, really cool because come full circle, as I've gotten clean, I've been able to help out. It was a fundraiser event, and when they came to him, because he works for a nonprofit organization, and they help addicts, and they raise money to keep that organization going. And they asked me to do so when they came to him and they started researching some of the clients that he had, which I was one of them, and they ended up choosing me as as the guest for this thing where I don't know if you've seen TED Talks, but the producer of TED Talks like introduced me not introduced, but she interviewed me a couple of times, and then they did a big thing at this gala about me, which helped raise money for his thing. So it was really, really cool. This guy's really, really special to me. He taught me about the law of reciprocity. I bought him a pen that had engraved on it the law of reciprocity. He's just a really special dude. Alfred Bridges, I love that man. I'm actually trying to get him on the podcast.
Shout out to Al, baby.
Yeah, man. So the law of reciprocity, as soon as I learned what this is, first off, before this man told me what it was, I didn't even know that was a word, reciprocity. And he would call it the law of reciprocity. Inactive addiction for me, Milan, it seemed like every time I did something, it was always about what I was going to get in return. I always did something knowing I was going to get some kind of value in return, that transactional relationship that we talk about. And with this, the law of reciprocity is about putting out there what you want to get back in return. The idea that if you put out into the world, whatever you put out there, love, kindness, generosity, honesty, even negativity, right? Whatever you put out there, you're going to get that back in return. And as a recovering addict, this is a really, really cool one, Milan, because this can go a lot of different ways. We talk about being able to keep what we have. And how do we keep what we have? We give it away. And it seems like the more love, the more kindness, the more generosity we put out there, for me, at least, the more I get it tenfold. I not only get it in return, I receive it in droves back. And it teaches me every time that that's what I need to do. It's about doing the right thing regardless of who's looking, for the right reason, just because you're a better person today. For me as a recovering addict, this can be a spiritual law for me, right? Like I'm always putting out there what I want to receive, and I'm always trying to be kind to people. Kindness is an act. A simple act of kindness can change the world. You never know how far your reach can go. We talk about that a lot on here. So This is a really, really fun one. Can go a lot of different ways with it. But it's something that I really practice as a spiritual foundation for my recovery today. Because it shows me I'm a better person. It puts a term around how I'm acting, and why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I know I want to receive it, and I'm just a better person today. And so I want to receive and be around better people. So I got to act right. I got to act right. So we'll have a lot of cool questions, and I know we're going to open this thing up. But I love you, man, and I've been missing you. This is our Wednesday, so it was a long week, and let's get into it, man.
I love you too, and I am really grateful to be here. I'm so happy to see you. I cherish our times together.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you sent me this. So my first experience with the word reciprocity was in grade 11 history class. And it was about the late 1800s. There was the War of Reciprocity between the States and Canada. And it was about free trade. It was essentially about a trade deal, just like we're kind of going through now with the tariffs. And so, and
It's like
like,
you versus me. You versus me.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's crazy.
We got Virginia, not West Virginia,
And
versus British Columbia.
that's right.
And who can hustle better?
Woo.
And quite frankly, it's historically the States has out hustled Canada every fucking deal we've had.
That's all right. We love y'all, man. We love y'all.
But so for me, it taught me about the exchange, and free exchange was essentially like true reciprocity is an even trade. But the thing I think that the universe likes to play funny tricks is that it's you don't always get back exactly what you give. You may get the same amount, but it might not be the same thing.
Mhm.
And like we could give love, service, honesty, and care, and we might get serenity back. We might get growth back.
Great point.
It's just not a mechanical trade, but more like a spiritual truth. Like some people call it karma. Some people, and
Yeah.
and and one of the things like Andrew touched on, it's like what you put out there, you get back. And so, there's people who are like the power of positive thinking, but that really, really underneath that power of positive thinking is the law of reciprocity.
Mhm.
you know it basically, if we're putting positivity out there, we will get positivity in some form back. It's just not going to be wrapped up with the exact same number stacks, like five thank yous doesn't equal five thank yous back. Like that's just
Yep.
not how the universe works. And so, when we share, like in our shares, we share experience, strength, and hope, and we get strength and hope back from shares.
Hmm.
Like faith without works is dead. And, it says right and then in Living Clean, it says, giving of ourselves brings blessings beyond measure.
Yep.
So you can't have a measuring cup with the law of reciprocity, because one might be one return for another. And it's like some call reciprocity grace in motion. It's like the
Hmm.
gift we receive from our higher power, and that gift we're sharing, right? Like its circle, like service begets freedom, honesty invites trust, and love multiplies when shared.
Yep. Yep.
And I think we're going to have a great time with the questions. I'm super duper looking forward to this. And guess who loves you?
You.
That's right.
And look, real reciprocity doesn't come from manipulation, it comes from sincerity. That's what I have written down too.
And that's the thing, is that, like ill intentioned or selfishly directed service is not going to equal the freedom and the love that it could be when it is. So it's like checking our motives, and actually, learning to give selflessly of ourselves.
Because who are we fooling, Milan? If you're out there giving, selfless service, and you're just kind of raping and pillaging, but you think in the back of your head that you're like, hey, I'm being of service, right? Like who we
Mm.
fooling? Who we fooling here? You're only
I'm
fooling
telling you,
yourself.
if the goal is an attaboy, you're creating an expectation and you're going to be mad.
I'm really
You,
mad.
you know, like,
Yeah.
like that's where the attaboy is a real dangerous thing to want,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know,
And it's not about giving so you can get, it's about giving because it's the right thing to do, Milan.
or like to have a genuine desire to help others,
Right. Right.
like right or wrong. It's like externalizing our self seeking tendencies and
As
to
an
actually
addict,
be seeking to help others.
and correct me if I'm wrong, like we almost need to practice it before it can become a natural thing for us almost at the beginning, you would think. There's a little bit of that.
I would say for sure,
Yeah.
but the deepest rewards are going to come when it's, excuse me, helpless or
Yeah.
selfless.
I agree. I agree. So
Mm.
so how do you practice reciprocity in your recovery today, Milan? Top it
Man,
off.
okay. So, first of all, through my two-way prayer, one of the things that's come up in the last few weeks is call the lonely. And it's just like I take a moment or try to take it either every other day or every day to call one person I know who's still suffering and definitely lonely in the program.
Is that something you came up with through the two-way
Yeah, it
prayer,
came
or how did
from the
that?
two. It came from the two-way prayer,
Okay.
and so it's just that in an endeavor to have a life rich with people who love me, I want to create love in other people's life.
Yeah.
Like that's that to me is like what I want to see in the world is I want to see the lonely having friends, and it starts with me being one of them. And I did it randomly on Monday to someone, and it turned out to be the guy's 65th birthday, and I was the only one who
Ah,
called him that morning. You
ah,
know, yeah,
look at
like so
that.
it was. I mean, talk about
Ooh,
my
getting
higher
answers.
power
Getting answers.
guiding me in a
Whoosh,
direction that, like
whoosh.
and so for me,
Amen.
it also is it's also the service I do for meetings, like the couple groups that are my home groups. I'm there early, setting up, creating a place for people to walk into the meeting and kind of have a little community beforehand. Why? Because I want a community,
Hmm.
and then also too with my sponsees, like man, there's just like 2 out of 3 right now are just I'm experiencing fantastic relationships with them. I'm fantastic growth. Yesterday we officially got through the 100 spiritual principles with that one, and
Wow.
so now
Congratulations,
now
boys.
we're on to another thing. But I was almost like
Eating it
I
up.
feel like we're supposed to get a diploma
Eat,
now or something.
eating it up.
But
You
it
got
was
one. It's inside you right
I
now.
know, but it was it's and so it's through that service that like I'm receiving brotherhood, I'm receiving love. Like the reciprocity isn't, it's not coming back in the same form I'm giving it, but I am more like my heart is more than full from it, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like if I give discipline and commitment, right, I get freedom back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so reciprocity is a wonderfully exciting twist on a transaction, you know, because it's just like it doesn't come when you want it, it doesn't come how you want it, and it doesn't come how you expect it.
It's highly unknown, and it puts a term to this unknown, like
Mhm.
like we're getting something out of doing something, but like we don't even really know if we're going to be getting anything when we're doing it. We don't really care. We're doing it because we're doing it for the right reasons. It's a pretty cool thing that and it's a cool word too, reciprocity. That was another reason why it stuck into my brain because it's just a funny word to say.
That's why, dude, out of everything I did in grade 11 history, it's the only thing I remember. Like, it is that, like, I couldn't tell you even who my teacher was right now.
Yeah, yeah. But with that the reciprocity,
Oh,
it just
yeah.
sticks. It
It
sticks
was a
once you put it
word.
in.
It was a word that was there.
That's
So that's
funny.
the end of my answer on that one. I'm going to let you take that one now.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So, um, So today, Andrew, how do I practice reciprocity in my recovery today? Well, I have to remember that everything I was given freely, right? I had that's coming into this thing. That's what I need to remember is that everything I have now, I was given freely because I was shown these rooms, and then showed me how to act, and and nobody charged me $1 to walk. Like when I walked through that first meeting that I came into, I wasn't charged at the door. I wasn't hit with any work. Like I didn't have to do any work, right? Like we can step up and maybe make coffee or something like that. But nobody told me to do anything. They just wanted me to sit down and be there. Um, you know, I thought about like the hug. I wasn't. They weren't given invoices for hugs, right? Are you with me? Like there wasn't any transactions going on. There wasn't any angles for anything that was going on. So that's a whole different environment for me to be in right then. So if you're coming to your first couple meetings and you're listening in, man, like welcome home. We fucking need you. You know what I mean? Like just hang on until you can get some semblance in your life. Like just hang on and just keep coming back. But it shows up to me in a lot of different ways, like meetings. Like I know if I go to a meeting and every time I walk in the door of a meeting virtually or in person, and especially when I'm of service, you know, I'm gonna get back what I give, right? Like if I like if I don't feel like sharing or showing up, I can let somebody else do it. Like there's other people around. Like there's people that will pick up my slack. I don't have to share every time. Like I can be there and be in the chat and be of service to a newcomer that's struggling and maybe pull them into a breakout room. There's a lot of different ways you can be of service. Just answering the phone. Answering the phone. Sponsorship. I sponsor a couple of young guys. That the act of sponsorship, just putting that out into the world is something that, oh my God, man, like I've got a sponsee now that's struggling and he calls me with some of the worst shit. He has some of the worst shit going. He's going through some really, really tough times right now. And it breaks my heart, but it pumps me up. I thank him every time he calls me. And because it really helps me out, you know. Um my personal interactions inside and outside the fellowship. It's how I live day to day. My conversations with my family and my friends. I don't just take anymore. I give back. I try to give back. I just try to give. It's not about giving back. It's about giving. Just giving because I've been taken for so long, man. I've been kind of taken from society, my friends, family, and all that. So I just try to give. My thing is giving now. And I know if I give, I'm going to receive. I give a lot of love, give a lot of hope, give a lot of humility. Those are my things. Those are my jams. So I'm constantly giving those things out. And at its core, man, like reciprocity, it's about staying out of selfishness. I like that selfish person I used to be because I was a very, very selfish person in active addiction, Milan, and I'm not anymore. And I show that how I act and how I treat other people because um, I know I'm going to be treated the way I treat. And then here's another thing I was thinking about. Every time when you're out there doing like good stuff and you're helping people out, like when you're doing these good things, very rarely do you get hit with all that like something really bad in your life. Like I'm talking about something really unfortunate happens. Like when you're doing really good stuff, it tends to roll through with that. And yeah, unfortunate things happen, but as long as you stay on that uptick, that positive roll of reciprocity, a lot of times it's never ending, man. I've been on this thing for 3.5 years now. In my own way. It's building up, but yeah, I love the term, man. I'll pass it to you.
Awesome.
Love you, man.
So I love you tons. When we give without expectation, we receive more than we imagined. How has selfless service enriched your recovery in unexpected ways?
Selfless service. Well, there's a lot of things that come in with service, man. Like service commitments, shit, making coffee, setting up chairs, just being there to have the doors open virtually, greeting people. Um, what that does is it allows me to appreciate the process, man. I really it just makes me appreciate the process, and it makes me appreciate the diversity that we have in our program, man. Because they do say that our diversity is our strength, Milan, and so we accept anybody. If you have the desire to stop using drugs, we need you. and so that's our primary purpose, is to carry out that message, which an addict, any addict can stop using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. And if you hadn't heard that, that's our job, is to tell you that and to show you that. And so saying thank you to the fellowship, not in just words, but in service. That's how I say thank you to this fellowship, as I give selfless service. When I'm asked to be of service, I say yes, if possible, if I can. Speaking engagement, something like that. I always say yes. I was taught that really, really early on, that you don't say no to service in this fellowship. So I give back. Um, being able to turn my mess into a message and give some people some hope, man, is everything for me. It keeps me going. It's what drives me today. So I'll fast and easy on that one, man. I'll pass it to you. Or I got to ask you a
Hello.
question.
No, I got to answer that one.
Oh no, that's right. I'm all off this morning, bro. I'm backwards this morning, man. Thank you for keeping me
No,
on
you
track.
know what? I love you. And
I love you more.
when we give without expectations, we receive more than we imagined. How has selfless service enriched my recovery in unexpected ways? So, you know, coming into recovery, my community was way down. Like I was definitely isolating. I had like, some groups of friends that I would have some like massive benders with here or there, but it was not like a day-to-day fellowship. My service now, it's created a community. You know, it's brought about the feeling of actual, unity in a common cause for us to stay straight and to help other people who are new to the program. And it's given me a brotherhood with my sponsors, with my sponsees, and these were things that I didn't know I was missing. But that have enriched my life so much, and it's brought me closer to others. Like a part of my selfless service is not just inside this program. It's with family members, it's with friends. It's actually trying to see what other people need outside of myself. Like I feel that one of the things that I'm doing is trying to seek that, like to take a step back for a few seconds every day and being like, hey, like what are the people around me needing? You know, and inevitably, when you start addressing those needs of others as importantly as your own, they feel important and you get closer to them. You know, when you're just acting out of selfishness or self-seeking, that gets real tired to other people. Even if they're predisposed to best supporting actor or actress in their personality type, it still gets old to them because they're never taken care of, and it just depletes them. And so I think that that's all I have for that one. I mean, I don't think it needed a massive
Yeah, it's
answer.
beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So here we go. When have you experienced the blessings of reciprocity the most in your recovery? When do you find that you've experienced that the most?
Ooh, man, it's still flowering. Like when do I get the blessings, the more I can externalize. On the days that I am able to initiate that flow are the days that I'm going to get the most back. Like I said earlier, it's not like an exact timeline exchange, like here's the bag, here's $5. Like it's just not like that. But the thing about it is that I was thinking about this while I was actually jogging today, is that the very second, anytime, even before I fully got clean, every single time I stopped, even if it was like white knuckling for 36 hours, life started changing. Like the blessings of being straight started rolling in like within hours of stopping using. Like my life trajectory always changed. So it's just continuing to right now. And on a more and deeper, profound level, the more I'm actually like externalizing myself, and it's so so much deeper now, but it was no less authentic before. It's just that uh, it, I, uh, I didn't have the same level of gratitude. So I didn't even see all the blessings, you know? And that's the difference, I think, today.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. That's
Mm.
beautiful. All right, so I'm going to answer. How have I experienced the blessings of? When do I experience the blessings of reciprocity the most in my recovery?
Hmm.
Well, it's real simple, man. When I'm helping another addict out, man, you know, it's very, very simple. When I'm helping another addict, especially somebody who's new, coming in these rooms that needs some help, that can't even hardly get through a share, doesn't even know what a burning desire is yet, man, those people, my heart goes out to them, you know, because I know that feeling, man. We know that feeling so much, Milan, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to reach a hand out today, you know. But being able to help somebody else out, what, giving my time, my energy, and my experience to somebody else to help pull them out of where they're at, because y'all did that for me. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to be a part of today. It really, really pumps me up, Milan. Really, really pumps me up. And what I didn't really know is, when I'm pouring into these people, I didn't know at first that I was pouring into myself then. You know, I hadn't even really read the literature enough to be able to understand that what I was doing for myself at that point. And that's why it's so important to read these books. It's so important to, get yourself a sponsor eventually that you can talk to and ask these little questions to, because clarifying these little things early on is so important to you being able to last long term in this recovery process. That's just my opinion. You know, being able to connect the dots on all these little intricacies that come up. You know, all these little things that pop up as we're healing. You know, as these drugs wear out of our body, um, a lot of things start working that weren't working before. Our brains chemistry is getting to where it's like we're getting neurons back, and there's a lot of things in our bodies that's going on. You know, we're kicking all that waste out, all that chemical, all that bad shit out of our body. You know, and with that comes feelings, emotions, senses, and things that we're not really ready for, or I wasn't. You know, I wasn't ready for them, but I surrounded myself with the fellowship, stayed in meetings, and that's where the reciprocity hit too. Being in meetings, just be sitting there. I remember being in meetings so wrapped up in my head about how just effed up I was. I was just drained physically, depressed. I was empty. I was completely empty. I was like a walking corpse. But something was taking me to the meetings. Something dragged me to those meetings. And I look at it as, my higher power, God. God got me to the meetings. Which I didn't even know about my relationship with him at that point, right? Like, he took me to meetings so that I could have a relationship with him. He's like, here, this is how we're going to introduce ourselves to each other, buddy. We're going to get you in these meetings, get you off drugs, get you some friends, and we're going to show you who I am, right? We're going to introduce ourselves to each other. And bro, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. When I would just sit in these meetings and I would listen, and it would pull me out of my shit. I'd hear somebody share something that they were going through, and bro, it would wipe my situation off the map. And it would take me out of what I was going through every time, every time. And then I read a little bit about myself, and it says, God speaks through people. And bro, that's all I needed to hear, man. God speaks through people. When I would hear these people talk in these meetings, it was my audio. I go to a lot of meetings now because I'm trying to hear the word. I'm trying to hear him talk to me. That's how that's how this thing works. Look, I've pulled myself to this meeting, and there's my attaboy for doing that. I'm gonna give you a share that's gonna pull you out of your head right now and make you not want to think about killing yourself for an hour. And being able to quantify that, and being able to, like, know that, like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm in this meeting. I'm doing the right thing for myself, right? Staying clean must come first. Just being in a meeting and shutting the hell up. Even if you can't share, you're being of great service to that meeting. And you'll get something back in return. But don't go looking for it, right? Just go there. And so I would hear the word, I would hear these shares and it would pull me out of my shit, man. Like honest sharing is the antidote to our disease thinking, right? They say sharing at meeting level, honestly, is one of the highest forms of prayer in our service. So if you don't pray, just share. That's a form of prayer. That's technically a form of prayer. You look at it that way. And you can look at everything spiritually, Milan. We're starting to hit on this thing. Like if you're a spiritual person, everything can be spiritual. So don't fight spirituality either. Try not to. Because that can be all encompassing too. If you wrap spirituality in with this reciprocity thing, there's your like physical, and then there's your like your bodily, and then your out of body. It's like, man, you can really have a good time recovering if you choose to do so. And you don't ever have to use drugs again, even if you want to, what I heard a long time ago too. So that's my answer. Love you, man.
I love that. Okay, I've got another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The fellowship thrives because each of us gives back what was freely given. What forms of giving keep your program strong today, Andrew?
Well, giving service, being of service to the fellowship in my home groups. I'm in several home groups that I'm of service at. Being a sponsor. Sponsorship is the highest form of service in our fellowship. Being able to be there for another person or a couple people has been life changing for me, and it keeps me going. Um, just being able to listen to people today, man. There's people that call me and I can shut the hell up and I can listen, and a lot of times I don't even have to answer my mouth, open my mouth, and I get so much in return, Milan. I get so much in return when I can just listen to a good friend go talk about their issues and not try to fix it. I don't have to fix everything because I completely understand it's not about me anymore today. As soon as it is about me, then I start getting out into those character defects. But it happens in ways now, Milan, where it's not about using drugs anymore. Like I'll go buy another pair of shoes. I don't need another pair of shoes, bro. Bro, I just
Apparently
bought,
not from the stories you told me.
I just bought another one the other day. I can't stop.
Um,
I can't stop, man. I can't stop. So, with that being said, I don't even know how I got off on this shoe thing. It's something that I'm trying to hold myself accountable to because I have a problem with it, and but that's okay. I'm not on drugs anymore today. Um, I was at work. Look, I was at work the other day, Milan. I was sharing it. I think this has happened when I was in a meeting with you, but I don't get in trouble for sharing or for using drugs in the bathroom anymore. I get in trouble for sharing in a meeting in a bathroom at work now. It's it's a whole different life to live, man. Because they can drug test me now. I'm like, hey, I'm not using drugs. I can promise you that. So it's funny. But yeah, that's all. That was my answer.
okay.
I think I got off on a tangent, but
I think it was perfect. The fellowship thrives because each of us gives back what was freely given. What forms of giving keep my program strong today? You know, well, like I keep saying it, but I keep doing it. I start my day with that two-way prayer, and so like I'm praying, and
TWP.
then I'm given some time to listen for answers. So that would be a form of giving that I feel like is keeping my program strong today. Giving my will away every day. That's keeping my program strong. In sharing, giving my experience, strength, and hope away. That keeps my program strong.
Mm-hmm.
Doing step work with my sponsees. And oh my gosh, did I tell you I got a new sponsor?
No, you didn't.
Oh,
What?
okay. So
Whoa,
side
what's my
check.
name, Skip?
So
Bro,
yeah, she's a lady who has
did you have a
37.
sponsor? I thought you had
I,
a
I
sponsor.
had a sponsor, but like
Can you
once you
tell me
go,
about it? Like what happened?
like so basically once we kind of go through the big book and the 12 by 12, my sponsor basically he's just he only like likes to keep regular meetings when you're doing that first thing, and then he wants to be able to go and start working with someone else so that
Mm-hmm.
he can move on. And I
Yeah.
still want more guidance right now.
Yeah.
And so I ended up connecting with this lady. She's this native lady. She was on the podcast, did that transformative spiritual experiences
Hmm.
podcast here. Shaylin, and shout out to Shaylin.
What's up?
So she's got 37 years in the program, and I met with her for the first time Saturday about it. And
In
man,
NA?
we're
NA
going
or?
deep. AA, we're
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
but like it's basically the 12 steps,
That's
man.
awesome, man.
It's not, and
Congratulations.
it's yeah. So I
That's
mean,
dope. I'm happy for you, man.
it's going to be amazing. Like the first meeting with her was just such a spiritual journey through healing, man.
In
Right
your
away.
area? She's in your area?
Yeah, yeah. She lives in the next town over. Yeah,
Dope. That's awesome, man. That's really
yeah.
cool. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm happy for you. Makes me happy.
Makes me happy too. I'm actually pretty stoked. I feel like I've got a compass direction right now with
That's
that, and
cool.
that makes me feel good.
That's really cool.
And so, yeah, I think that's good enough on the question for me. I got sidetracked there, but I had to tell you once. I was like,
That's
shit, I'm
really
like,
cool. That's really cool. This kind of rolls into my question. So, how do you balance giving and receiving in your relationships today, Milan?
woo. Well, the thing about it is that I'm trying to keep no record of wrongs.
Ooh,
And
trying.
well,
That's tough. That's tough.
I mean, it's real easy to even have one record,
Yeah, it
So,
is.
so the balance is if I'm getting too tired, I'm giving too much. Like there, um, there's a certain amount of program that I'm trying to do for myself in the morning and physically, and then it's like I try to externalize after that. And if I don't get that done, at least a certain amount of it, like today, I walked, like because our podcast starts at this time, I do, and the way that the days aren't getting lighter till later, I did one less walk than I would normally do. And I just have to accept that sacrifice, even if I know it's not quite the level of exercise I want. But so, in respect to giving and the balance in that, is that I'm really not trying to look at how much I'm receiving. I'm really just trying to make sure that I have enough time to do the giving I want to do without without it coming at the cost of my emotional sobriety and my spiritual condition. You know, because there is a point, like if I get to such a tired point that I'm not present in a conversation with a sponsee, they need that that like presence. And so that's what I want to offer. And then, I think that getting this new sponsor, right? It was me saying, "Hey, I'm actually needing something too here to grow." Like, I think I keep myself pretty stimulated, and I think I keep myself growing. But the thing is that I'm always going to go to the direction that Milan's attracted to, like a moth to the light. And so, having a guide who's like, she has an incredible body of different things that she's done in her life. Like she's 75 years old and 37 years in the program, but
Hmm.
she also like studied Carl Jung for 30 years, studied shadow play, like all these different things that
Wow.
like, in our very first meeting, it was like, holy crap, like I am going to get to the root of some real shitty parts of my personality right now. And in a great way, like helped me get to the root of something that I just never ever would have got there on my own. So, yeah, like I think my balance comes from seeking to
Hmm.
be of service, but also my quest for learning.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I'm proud of you, man. I'm pumped up for you, man. That hypes me up.
Woo!
Um, so how do I balance giving and receiving in my relationships? Um, for me, it was one of the hardest things, but it was very, very rewarding when I was able to kind of grasp this. Being able to give and receive. Because early on, man, I'll say this all the time, man. I was just taking, taking, taking. It was always about that transaction, what I was getting in return, and I would try to give as little as possible to get the most in return. And that's how I did. That was my thing. That was my jam, you know. Um, but when I got clean, I carried some of that old patterns too with me when I got here, but because I had to lean heavily on other people. I was constantly reaching out for support, yet I wasn't really able to be there for support. So I felt like I was just taking, and I was, but everyone kept telling me that was okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. But whatever I could get my hands on, I took. And it kind of rolled into recovery. So at the beginning, it was okay, but over time, I realized that with this word, the recovery process, and it being about the reciprocity, even not even knowing what that word was really at that point. I knew what that word was because I had gotten into treatment and knew what it was, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't practice it. But I realized, man, if I wanted healthy relationships, I couldn't just take, man. I had to give. If I want true healthy relationships, if I want to grow with people and not just have a flash in and flash out of my life thing. Like I gotta give something to these people if I want to receive, right? Why is somebody going to do anything for me if I don't do anything for them? Why is anybody going to go out there and think that why am I going to think that they're going to want to do anything for me? That's my disease thinking there. It's my dis-ease coming in. So um I realized that recovery is about listening, man. I learned to listen as much as I spoke, because I can talk my ass off, man. I can talk. I can talk for days. But it's about at least coming in here and trying to listen as much as I talk. And then as I grow, I can listen more than I talk, man. It's not about me running my mouth anymore today. The more I listen, the more I learn. I want to run my mouth constantly, and I still get into those areas where I'll talk over people and stuff, but I'm pretty good at catching myself. Because I'm aware today. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm situationally aware. There's some people that just have no situational awareness, and it drives me absolutely batshit crazy. But again, that's my own thing. I gotta keep my side of the street clean. I'm not doing anybody else's inventory today. So being reliable, as much as I'm being supported, Milan, is very important to me today. People show up for me today. Why? Because I've shown up for them, and I maybe showed them the way here. And so now I know on the back end, man, they're gonna be there for me. And that's not why I do it. I just know now, looking back at it, I know that they're there, man. I got support now. I have people that call me when maybe they don't see me in a meeting that they think I should be in. And bro, I'm okay with that today, man. It's a beautiful thing to have. You got people looking out for you. People come looking for you, man. A home group that loves you and you love and you want to be of service at, man. It'll change the game for you, in my opinion. It gives you that new family that you need. But my big thing is like giving without expectation now. I used to give only to get, and that's not the case anymore. I do favors for people. I would do favors for people who owe me. Now it doesn't matter if you owe me anything. I'm going to be there for you. If you're in my circle of friends, if you're in my new tribe, bro, I got you. Right, Milan? Like I can call you anytime and talk to you about anything, man. I know that for a fact, and I'm not going to get any. I don't need fear of like you thinking I'm an asshole or like judging me because you've been there. You've been there, probably going through it right now too. So it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Don't try to complicate your way out, right? Like you're not the only one that's going through what you're going through right now. It might seem like that. I know for a fact it seems like that. But you're not. We're all going through this thing together. So get in here and kind of hang out with us and let us help you while you help us. That's how this whole thing works. So that's my answer. Love you.
I love that. Okay, I got a great question here. I think that'll fit right in. Spiritual reciprocity is not barter, it is the natural flow of love and grace. How have you experienced blessings that felt like gifts of grace, not transactions?
Oh wow. Um, say that last part of it again. I was.
How have you experienced blessings that felt like gifts of grace,
Oh
not transactions?
man. Um, I've been in a position where I do a lot of service. I've been asked to speak at meetings and stuff before, and God, just being asked to be of service and being asked to speak at I have a lot of people ask me to speak at meetings, and I don't even know. Like I know I'm good I'm good communicating with, but it just blows my mind how people really enjoy my message and enjoy when I speak. And the blessing for me is like being able to pump people up with my with what I'm saying today and not like put people down. I used to really be an asshole, Milan, and so the blessings of people wanting to hear my experience, strength, and hope is it's really cool, man. It's really cool to be able to be there for the fellowship and not want anything in return, knowing that like I'm helping people out at that moment. Like the more I do that, the more I help, the more I give, like the easier it is for me to live there. It's really easy for me to live there. So it's not even about counting my blessings today. I just continuously do the right thing regardless. And um I heard this the other day. My mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. You like that?
Yes.
So the parachute's only going to stop you from hitting the ground if it's open. You got to be open-minded. That's what kind of cracks this whole thing open, man. And so again, my mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. And look, we cannot manipulate what God can orchestrate. I'm going to continue on that. Remember when JJ said that the other day? I cannot manipulate what God can orchestrate. So, and my feelings won't take me up, but my actions will. So I stay tapped in. I'm staying of service. I stay tapped into God, guts on demand, man. I love you, man. I know I got off on that question, bro. I started well,
It's all
but then I
good.
got off. I love you.
I love you too. So, spiritual reciprocity is not barter, it's the natural flow of love and grace. How have I experienced blessings that felt like gifts of grace, not transactions? Well, Andrew hit it there near the 2/3 of the way through there when he was talking about service. Like getting the privilege to help and serve others is a real grace. Like from where I was at to the function I am now in some people's lives, it is nothing short of a miracle, man. It is absolutely. And then like having the gift of grace of surrender, like to not be consumed by by my addiction, by my defects, by my shortcomings, like the surrender of all those things growing in my life. That is a gift of grace, learning to love more completely, another gift of grace, the acceptance that I have of situations and of people now that I didn't, another gift of grace. Oh, and just wait, freedom, like just
Freedom.
another one, ringing in my life. And then, that feeling of peace and serenity, like that just was non-existent. It wasn't like I traded 5 Hail Marys for it and did 6 rosaries. Like it is just like coming from living differently. And really, who's kidding you? The courage to do all this, and the honesty and humility to actually see the truth in my life. Like there's so many gifts of grace that really I honestly feel undeserved of. Like there's I could never repay the universe for that. you know and I think I'll leave that one
Beautiful,
there.
man. That's beautiful. You ready for my question?
I am.
What happens when you fail to practice reciprocity today? Lauren?
you know uh it's not like a balance sheet, but for me, one thing I have found personally is that it shuts off the flow. It disconnects me from my conscious contact with the universe, and it turns off the tap of the flow. If I start to be just on the take, if I start to be too defective, it's like I get out of the zone. I stop being present, and I'm either living in a desire of wanting, or the past of resenting not getting something I wanted. And so for me, it's like I have to be really careful to stay in the zone, because that connection supplies all of that power of the graces right there. And so, yeah, It's not a long
Beautiful.
answer, but that's the truth for me, 100%.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So, when what happens when I fail to practice reciprocity? And you did hit it. It's not like a scale thing, but the first thing that happens is I start feeling myself falling back into those old ways, like that isolation, the selfishness, that resentment. I start having resentments more than I typically would. Those thoughts of having resentments and resentful thoughts start weighing in. Um, but reciprocity will keep me connected, right? It keeps me humble. That word balance keeps coming to mind here. Balance. Without it, I start drifting out. I start drifting out there, and so in recovery, if I stop giving back, I stop sharing at meetings. I stop picking up the phone. Um, I notice myself getting restless. I really do. There's a kind of like a direct connection with that. I find myself being more irritable, more discontent in general. The less meetings, the less service, the less everything I do. Maybe if I don't answer that sponsee's phone call because I was tired or whatever, like I feel that shit, man. I feel it. It's wild, but it shows in my actions and in my attitude. And I have a disease, a self-centered. Self-centeredness is at the core of my disease. So I've got to do something about that. I have to be active against that self-centeredness every single day. I got to try to remove that from the situation every single time a little bit more, and then I'm gonna be all right. um but like in my relationships, when I fail to like practice this in my relationships, I start to suffer. I think we all can understand where I'm coming from on that part. Like if I only take from my family without giving to them, or like my loved ones or my significant other, um they feel drained, I feel drained. Like if I expect other my friends to listen to me, but I don't listen to them, it's not going to work, Milan. That one-sided relationships that you think you're just gonna come over here and listen to me run my mouth for 2 hours and you don't get to say anything about what you've been going through today. Like that's not how things work. You're not gonna get a very good back and forth that way. It's about the give and take. There has to be some balance. Um, if I'm not balanced, I start getting that complacent mindset. And you know what happens when we get complacent, Milan?
Come place your ass in the seat.
Get it. Get it. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, in spirituality too, it hits when I stop practicing this word and this term with my higher power. My spiritual nature dries up almost, right? If I'm constantly asking for these guidance and blessings, and then I don't take the time to listen to the answers, what am I doing?
Mm.
I got to take time to listen. If I'm asking for all these things, I got to be able to slow down enough to listen to the answers, or I'm a wrecking ball like I was, and I start effing up again. So I gotta slow down, and I gotta pray. I gotta stay praying, man. I've gotten real comfortable praying every single day, at least twice, morning and night, every single day and night, at least. But I'm talking formal prayers, but I pray constantly throughout the day, bro. I break it down with the serenity prayer at any time. You know what I mean? And it just flips me right back into my where I need to be, out of my own self-centered thinking. So, trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to say? Um, if I fail to practice this in any of my affairs, like I rob myself of growth, Milan. If you don't practice reciprocity, you're not going to grow. So, that's my opinion. Love
I
you.
love you. Okay. When we share our story, we find pieces of ourselves reflected back in others. What have you learned about yourself by openly sharing your experience?
Man, I've learned how loving I am. I've learned that I am a really loving person, and that my mother and my family gave me a lot of love growing up, but I wasn't able to tap into it because of the substances, because of the drugs, because of my disease. So I've learned that I am a very loving, humble person, and my feelings do come from a place of love, and from a good place. Like I used to think, because I had been using for so long, that I was just this really dark person. I had these dark thoughts. Um, But as I started cleaning out, I started reading about myself, and started getting some good feels in myself, man. Those negative thoughts would just kind of skirt my head, and they would go away. Negative thoughts don't hold me down. Fear doesn't cripple me anymore. You know, that whole fear part of it. So like what's has brought me is like spiritual freedom, like a deep spiritual freedom, Milan. You know, it's that deep, quiet peace of knowing like I'm no longer a prisoner of my past. You know, it's a deep understanding that I'm not there anymore and that I'm not responsible for all that shit that I did in my disease, man. You know, and these rooms have guided me to a God of my understanding, which has allowed me to gain strength through the process of surrender. I'm able to surrender today, man. Wholeheartedly surrender what I can't control. And most of the time, I can't control most of it. You know, if I think about most situations, it's not about control. It's not about controlling that situation. It's about leaning into the natural flow of life and not being crippled by my mistakes today. You know, I used to be completely crippled by my mistakes because I just felt like a failure. You know, here we go again. Just going through the motions, failing like I usually do, and someone will pick me up. Right now, it's on me today. It's on my shoulders. You know, I'm committed to making this change, to finding myself and finding out who I am. And along the way, if if I'm gonna be helping other people tenfold, man, that's me today. I'm with it. You know, but it's about y'all, man. It's about being of service. It's about how I can service other people today. That's what the whole thing's about, man. Love you.
I
Love
love
you,
you
love you,
too.
love you, love you, love you. Boom.
When we share our story, we find pieces of ourselves reflected back in others. What have I learned about myself by openly sharing my experience? You know, probably that my journey and my struggles can shine a light forward for other people that you know that they maybe couldn't see without seeing another alternative, just like I have from so many other people's shares. You know that I'm not as horrible as I can picture myself to be. You know, and also that I'm changing and growing. You know, when I think about where my mindset and my ideas and even what I saw like as life and reality, you know, even probably like going back and listening to some of the first podcasts from this, like from 9 months ago, I'll be like, who is that dude? You
I
know,
did that. I did that the other day.
and I was like, what
It
the
was
heck?
wild.
Yeah, like I mean, there's been such change. And then I think this one, and you're gonna like this one, is that I'm starting to love who I'm becoming and that I'm becoming love.
Ooh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. What did you just say? Oh, you gotta slow
I'm
that
starting to
down.
love who I'm becoming and that I'm becoming love.
Ooh, that's a subtle banger.
I know.
One more
I'm like,
time. I'm
I'm
starting.
starting to love who I'm becoming and that I'm becoming love.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love that.
I
And then I'm
love that.
becoming. I love that. And I love that a lot, bro.
A little bit of wordplay there, but like, you know,
And then I'm becoming. I
yeah,
love that, bro.
I'm like, he's going to want that. He's going to want
Yes.
that in his
Thank you
arsenal.
for not forgetting.
Yeah.
Thank you for not forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
And I
that it?
think that's the end of my answer on that one.
Cool. Is it my question to ask
Yep.
you? All
Yep.
right. So, how does the law of reciprocity connect you to your higher power today, Milan?
So it's like, okay, first of all, I feel like, you know, my higher power, the universe, offers life. And so I think that the reciprocity for that life is gratitude and being part of that life, seeing how I can be of service to the entire picture of that life. Like I am not external to all that life, I am a part of it. And how best to keep all that rolling is through service, really. You know, also reciprocity exists in me praying my gratitudes and asking my questions and listening for the answer, and also trying to live that answers that I'm getting, and taking the time every day to do that. You know, there's like, I do that two-way prayer, and then I do my regular prayer on my walks, and they're kind of, they serve a couple different functions in my life. One is pen to paper, and the other one's vocal, and I think that they both offer different insights and identify with different parts of my brain and my heart, and so. Um, and then part of my interaction with my higher power is by saying thank you through the very act of taking care of myself, through my sleep, through my exercise, through how I'm eating, through me not smoking, through me not doing drugs or alcohol. Like it, I am I am trying to create the greatest vessel to be of service that I can. And I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. And I never thought at 53 I would ever say that. Like, dude, I ran up that mountain beside my house today. I shaved another 32 seconds off that time today.
You look like one who climbs mountains.
I,
You're a
I
mountain
am. I
man.
am a motherfucking
I was
magical
say, I
mountain
like your
climber.
shirt, and you do look nice today, bro. You're a badass. You're a bad motherfucker, yo.
I love you, man.
Hey, and from your last answer, I have this written down because you talked about self-stimulation. Your new name is Self-Stimulation Starcic.
Okay.
Yes, love it, love it.
Self-stimulation. We're not hitting a masturbation
I
name
I
on
didn't
it.
mean look, and I wasn't even being weird with that
I,
one at
I,
all.
I know.
I just think it clicks. I thought it clicked, but
Yeah.
we could. I'll find another word to put in there so it doesn't go off on that thing.
No, we're just not. I'm not using that other word.
No. So where are we at? I'm lost.
You got to answer that question.
All right, cool. So how does the law of reciprocity connect me to my higher power? This is a good one. I look at it not just as like a social principle, it's a spiritual principle now, right? Like that reciprocity is spiritual for me. And it's one of the like the clearest ways that I experience my higher power working in my life, right? It reminds me I'm not separate from him, right? Like I am him. He is me. And I'm connected to that thing that's bigger than myself. And when I freely give and receive openly, I feel that flow of love from him. I feel that purpose comes from God, man, and it's a spiritual flow. I believe my higher power is designed to work in circles, almost like the tides work, right? Like every day the tides go out and the tides come back in. That's kind of how this word works into my spirituality, right? Because as I give, I receive. Just like the tides go out, the tides come in. Gravity, it's a gravitational pull almost. And reciprocity fits into that rhythm. You breathe in, you breathe out, Milan, right? We breathe in, we breathe out. You give, you receive. And so that's God's design for me today, right? That's his design for me is as you breathe out, you breathe in. As you give, you receive. As you love, you receive love. And so when I receive, I can be cared for today because I'm giving out care, right? I'm not receiving care wondering why are you trying to help me? I'm going to be able to receive it because I love myself today, man, and I'm able to receive help, man. It's something as simple as that, man. I didn't even know how to receive help in active addiction, man, because it was all about the end goal. If someone was trying to help me, it didn't coincide with my plan to get drugs. It never worked. So I was starting to get upset on that one. I was starting to get all upset. So humility and surrender, right? Practicing reciprocity connects me with my higher power through humility, right? Being able to when I receive love and help from people through the wisdom of somebody else, or if I get directions on how to get where I need to get from somebody, man, it just shows me I'm in the right place. It's part of the surrender process for me. It's humility that keeps me spiritually grounded. I'm not out here searching for all these good things. I'm just living in them today. So when I give, I'm reminded that the gifts I've been given are not mine to hoard, right? They're mine to pass along, right? When I get these gifts, I don't just hold them all in a room and then nobody can see my gifts. No, I I open them up and then I let everybody else play with the gifts too, you know. That's how we do it, man. We let that shit go so we can have more of it. Real quick on the step work, like step work connects me to myself, connects me to other people, you know. And it was really, really, really important that I did that step work early on in recovery, man. Like as soon as I was able to wrap my brain around doing these questions, I started doing them. And it really got me right with myself, Milan. If I cannot stress this enough, do the steps. Please, please, please do the 12 steps in the 12-step fellowship that you attend. I'll say this every day because it will save your life. It will save your life. If you're sitting here trying to figure out what you're trying to do next here and you have not picked up the step work, please pick up the step work. Please. The gratitude piece, I practice gratitude, and the more I work out that gratitude muscle, the bigger my muscles get, man. That gratitude muscle just grows every time, and I can use it tactfully now, and it's beautiful. It's like you said, it's a muscle that we can actually exercise. So the gratitude piece is really comes in with this reciprocity thing too, and it connects me to my higher power and reminds me that like love, grace, and forgiveness don't stop with me because he's giving it to me. I gotta push that shit right out, and I'm like a free flow of like spirituality and love and connection because I'm giving it away as I'm getting. I'm not hoarding it, becoming a fat bastard full of love. Right? I'm passing that shit through. I'm a healthy, fit machine, throwing out that love and humility, man. So love you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a good one. You're going to like this.
Mm-hmm.
Love multiplies when offered freely. Fear shrinks when met with compassion. How has showing love in action dissolved fear in your relationships?
Oh man. Well, love and faith handle fear every time, man. I got these bouncers at the door. I got bouncers at the door. Love, Mr. Love and Mr. Faith. And bro, they've been working out for a long time waiting for you to come to that door, man. So like fear has it still creeps into my life, but I have so many people around me that love me, and I have so many people around me that care for me, and I have so many people around me that I love and care for that again, fear does not cripple me today. I don't let it take me out. It no longer cripples me because I'm able to spread that fear out. I talk to people when I'm in a spot that's really, really got me hemmed up. I call somebody and I talk about it, and we go through that and we try to figure it out. I'm no longer having to get through my shit today alone. I used to get through shit alone constantly because it was all about the drugs, and that's a very, very isolated thing for me. Some people were really social with their drugs, but I don't know too many people that long term stay extremely social with their drugs because once it becomes a problem, you don't want anybody else doing your drugs. I don't want you to be at my house when I get it because I don't want you to do it. I want to do it. I need it. And so being able to lean into love has, bro, it's everything for me. It's the foundation of everything that I do. I come to the table with love every single time. Um, Love doesn't lose. It's limitless. So, um, that's my answer, man.
I
Love
love
you.
that.
Love you, bro.
Okay, love multiplies when offered freely. Fear shrinks when met with compassion. How has showing love in action dissolved fear in my relationships? Well, you know, like kindness is love in action, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we were just talking about that
Mm-hmm.
the other day, and if I am learning to love more completely, right? The first thing is that the record of wrongs. Like, and what is keeping a record of wrong? It's thinking that the other person is getting away with something in that relationship.
Yeah.
And like are they getting more love than me? Oh, did I buy them like two movies and they only took me to dinner once, or whatever it is? It's like it becomes a balance sheet. And that record of wrongs guarantees that none of your actions are true service. Like it just dissolves the myth right there. The second I have a record of wrongs, the second I'm not acting out in true service. And that means that I'm not actually loving you. I'm actually trying to get love for me. And that's a whole different ballgame. And so for me, I'm just really focusing on some basic things these days. Like don't keep a record of wrongs. It's like right up here on my shoulder. Don't keep a record of wrongs. It's like, whoa, and then I have to back off, analyze what my motives are for keeping that record, and simply just question, why am I doing this? Why do I have to have something from them in order to want to give to them? Like what difference does that fucking make right now? And a question to ask myself is, if I said this situation to myself in a year, how fucking stupid am I going to look? Like seriously, like there's times where we're arguing about really dumb shit, and I'm like, do I want this to be in the history books of love in my life? Like, no. Like I want the history books of love to have no history. I want it to be right here, right now.
All encompassing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's my answer on that one.
You ready?
Yeah.
How does reciprocity shape your relationships in recovery and with your loved ones?
Can I say that one more time?
How does reciprocity shape your relationships in recovery and with your loved ones?
Well, I think that it's like faith in reciprocity shapes my relationships inside recovery and outside. Like if I don't have the faith that like that reciprocity is a thing, then that's when I can't help but counting on the record of wrongs, right? So it's like um, it it gets me to either strengthen or seek more faith, because without that faith that that's occurring, I'm lost inside the counting of the record of wrongs. Like I cannot not do it. And so it once it's coupled with that faith, then I can like distribute it freely, because I know inside my heart that even if the only reciprocity is my own internal freedom or peace, that I've made the best deal I can make in the universe. Because when I didn't value peace or freedom, that wouldn't have been a fair trade for me. And now it is. Now it's like the most precious thing ever. Like when I like that guy I met there at that conference, and he said, treating my serenity like it's priceless, and not passing my emotional sobriety like it's salt at a table. Like those are things that I don't want to do. And so if I don't want to do it, then I have to do things that enhance it, you know?
Yeah, man. That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. That's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. It's a great answer.
I love you.
So how do I love you back? How does reciprocity shape my relationships in recovery and with my loved ones? It's a good one. Now I look at it as like the heartbeat of my relationships. Without it, my connections with people, whether it's in recovery or in my personal life, they wouldn't survive. As I think about it, like real relationships are not one-sided. Real relationships require a steady rhythm of giving and receiving. There's got to be some give and take. Practicing reciprocity has taught me how to build trust. Um, it's taught me how to maintain balance in my relationships with people inside and outside the fellowship. It's allowed me to really truly care for other people, in a healthy way for the first time ever. For the first time ever. And so, my recovery relationships, how it shows up, it's, in sponsorship, sponsor a couple kids, service and sharing, man, like coming out here and sharing my experience, strength and hope, those three ways, my sponsor and being sponsored, right? My sponsor pours into me with his wisdom, his guidance, his humility that he's taught me. And the reciprocal part is I stay honest, I show up, I take the suggestions seriously. And then down the road, when I sponsor other people like I'm doing now, I pass along what was given to me from my sponsor. It's that give and take. You know, he gave it to me and I'm giving it to them. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's that back and forth that strengthens, bonds me to this fellowship and to the people in this fellowship. You know, it makes me realize that none of us are here alone. We're all in this fight together. And, you know, it doesn't matter how alone or isolated I feel, bro. I've got people all over the world that love me and I love them, man. And I don't ever have to feel alone again. You know, even in meetings, like where reciprocity is alive, when I'm out there sharing, people are sharing what they're going. And when I'm listening, when I'm actively listening and I'm feeling better from actively listening, that's reciprocity in action, man. Me just listening, being there, being of service and listening in a meeting and hearing your experience, strength, and hope. You have to have somebody to listen to you talking to, right? Like, so I got to be there to listen and vice versa. So outside of the fellowship, man, it's allowed me to close a lot of those old wounds, Milan. You know, being able to come to the table, honestly, who I am today, clean, you know, without running around like a nutbag, using and raping and pillaging everywhere I go. Bro, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's allowed me to heal some of these wounds that have been so damaging to me. You know, in addiction, I only took. I took for the money, took everything, took for the drugs, it didn't matter. You know, and so recovery has taught me to give back, you know, by showing up for my family too, man. I show up for my family big time because I would not be alive. 100% I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the people who stayed believing in me when I had no belief in myself. So, it also allows them to give into me again, Milan, because as an addict, I pushed my family away to the point where nobody's going to do anything for me anymore. Right? They were going to try to help keep me alive and just be there for support, but they weren't doing anything for me in terms of service. Now, today, they can actually pour back into me because they know that they're pouring into somebody who's back. Like I'm back, man. I'm alive for the first time. They're pouring into an actual physical human being that can actually understand what they're pouring into me, and they know they're not pouring into just, you know, a dead pool anymore, you know? It's really sad when I think about the way I used to be, you know, and the way I used to every single day, I would be okay with that being that way. And it's sad, man. It's sad, but I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful that I'm in a position that we can be doing this right here. And bro, I woke up this morning without wanting to use drugs, bro. And God woke me up this morning when he saw fit, not somebody wrecking me out of cell block D. Bro, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, man. So that was my answer. I don't even know, but that was
You
my
know what?
answer.
You ended perfectly to go into this question. So, service and gratitude are two sides of the same spiritual coin. How do you connect gratitude to the way you give back?
Wow. The way I give back, man, I'm always positive. I try to always stay positive. I'm the hype beast in our meetings, so I'm bringing out the energy. I'm bringing out the good feels. You know, a grateful addict doesn't use Milan, and so if I can continue to stay grateful, and how I do that is I go to a lot of meetings. It's really hard to use drugs in a meeting, Milan, and so I go to a lot of meetings, and it's and I hear the word. I put my effort, I put my energy into the meeting. A lot of times it'll pump that meeting up. You've been at meetings that I go to. There's a lot of times, especially if I'm of service, man, I try to pump that shit up, man. You know, recovery doesn't have to be humglum circle that you see on TV, man. This is where a lot of us are having some fun in here. And it's a beautiful thing to get my life back. So I embrace it. The positive aspect of the gratitude part has just elevated me to a whole different level, man. So it's my
I
answer.
love that.
Short and sweet.
Service and gratitude are two sides of the same spiritual coin. How do I connect gratitude to the way I give back? You know, gratitude has multiplied in my life like 100-fold over the last 6 months, and especially over the last 2 years, as a whole, there really wasn't much I was grateful for rolling into here. But my first sponsor always said gratitude is an action word. So, I try to actually show things I'm grateful for, my gratitude through that action. And and a big part of that for me is like seeing how I'm grateful for something. Like if I am grateful for that phone call from someone, then I pass that phone call on to someone. If I'm grateful for that hug I got or those kind words, then I try to pass that on to someone. And and one of the things, I mean, from my two-way prayers, I'm trying to practice gratitude in smaller intervals. And that keeps me from the itchy bitchy twitchy. Like I get way less defective if I can remain grateful. And so it's it's not easy. Like everybody out there, like gratitude is a muscle that you need to develop through usage.
Hmm.
If somebody's like, "Whoa, you're positive. I just don't feel that way." Well, guess what? You could change that. Like,
Hmm.
you could change it just by trying to think of things to be grateful for. And guess what? They magically start appearing the closer you look at things that you should be grateful for. Like there's real simple things that that are there. Like, I mean, are you like dying of thirst? Can you breathe? Like, I mean, there's a lot of people on this world starving. Like, I have a full fridge of food in the middle of like literally my daughter and I are driving home yesterday from a meeting and it's row after row of fruit trees and grapes. Like we live in a real agricultural area. And I'm like, how can you not be grateful to look at the beauty of this and the fact that that is like we're looking at miles of food,
Yeah, of life,
miles of food,
of
you
life.
know, and she's just like, yeah,
That's
like
cool.
we just had a real moment of co-joined gratitude there. So, you know, gratitude shapes the way I give back because it shows me things that I might have been overlooking that others might appreciate to have initiated into their lives. And sometimes sharing that gratitude can also open the door for somebody else starting to appreciate something that they have. It's one of the reasons why I love to ask people coming into a meeting, if I'm chairing, for a gratitude. Because if I can get a gratitude out of them, it often reminds me of something I'm taking for granted.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So it really expands it expands my own personal gratitude to share gratitudes.
I used to laugh. I used to get worked up when you had those people when you were doing that back at that meeting, and
Yep.
there was a few people that would get upset about that, and I would be like, "What is wrong with y'all? What
Yeah.
is wrong with you? Why would you be upset to hear a gratitude and to give a gratitude? Well, that's just not. What the hell's wrong
Well,
with you?
some people were downright nasty about it.
Yes,
And I was just
yes,
like, I'm like, well, I'm just asking for one. You don't have to like change the world here,
yeah.
just one.
God, man, this is wild, man. So, you ready for my question?
I am.
This is my last question. Then
Okay.
we got it. What, about 15 minutes, maybe even
Yeah, you know what?
10, 10, 15.
I've got a few questions, but there's really only one worth asking because this is kind of a topic where the answers have kind of eaten up a bunch of questions. So
Yes, they have.
yeah, you ask this one, and then let's just see where we're at.
How will practicing reciprocity guide you going forward in your life and recovery?
Well, like said in the other answer, is that like faith coupled with the reciprocity will allow me to go forward with less anxiety about the future. Because I know that I might not get exactly what I'm ordering, but I know that something good is coming and probably better than I can even picture. So it allows me to just stop struggling about the steering wheel of the universe, and every single time it's been something I've worried and worried and worried about. I find I don't have to at the end, and that all that worry was literally wasted energy. So it's helping to teach me. It's helping to teach me to let go of the rope a bit and surrender more to the amazingness of life, really.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So how will practicing reciprocity guide me going forward in my life and recovery? Well, it's going to be, and it is one of the most important things going forward to me. And I got to lean on it. In a way that like keeps me spiritually grounded. It's that calm peace knowing that I'm going to be okay regardless of the outcome of this situation. Um, if I'm emotionally balanced and connected with others, that's how I'm going to stay clean long term. And if I want to be the kind of man that I strive to be, then like reciprocity has to remain at the center of my daily living. It has to remain at the forefront. Just this term and this law or this term itself is going to keep me going. But as I gain more clean time, I know like temptation can still creep in, and it does, right? I still get tempted in all kinds of different areas, right? But it's when I stop doing the things that got me here, like the stop being of service, I stopped going to all the meetings that I usually attend. When I stop doing that normal routine, that's when all these little things can start creeping back in, man. All these little temptations for going back to doing the old way of life can creep back in, and just character defects and shit, man. The drugs aren't the problem here, man. We say this a lot. The drugs are not the problem. So when the drugs go, bro, I have arrived. Andrew's here now, and there's no calming him down. Like he's alive and in charge, and it's not like we can't like throw a substance to put him in the corner or I got to really take responsibility for my actions today because this is on me now, Milan. It's on us. We got clean, and I like to say God got me here, right? But and He's gonna keep me going. But it's on me to do the footwork. I gotta stay vigilant. It's on me going forward to do the step work and to do the actual footwork to keep me ahead of this disease because He's always there, man. My disease is always down there, and it's when I start letting up on these little things that He starts creeping back in. But it's really cool because I can see him coming now. I can see him coming from a way far ways away. I can almost feel his presence. But then whenever I do, I tighten right back up on my program, man. I start going back to the nuts and bolts of my program, um, and I tap back in, and it's been beautiful. The more and more clean time you get, the easier it is to tap into to not being an addict anymore. So that's my answer, man.
I love
Short and
that.
sweet. Love you, bro.
Okay, I'm going to end with this one, and
Mhm.
I just feel like it'll bring out some beauty here. When we trust the flow of giving and receiving, scarcity loses its grip. How has faith in abundance replaced old fears of not enough?
Wow. I don't really expect. Here's my thing is I don't go into my day expecting this grand thing to happen. I'm not like looking for a miracle every day. Like I lean into the small, beautiful blessings, man. Just being able to wake up and pray when I want to, and being able to surround the people that me surround myself with the people that I want to be around. It's just the really small things that I lean into today. I'm so comfortable in my skin today, man. I used to not even look other people in the face. Going forward, it'll guide me in being my reminder to stay balanced, to stay grateful and stay connected. It's going to keep me from falling back into selfishness, which will deepen my connection with my higher power, man. The more selfless I am, the more into my higher power and God's will I'm going to be. And so it'll make me somebody who contributes meaningfully to the life of other people. And that's what I want to, that's one of what I want my footprint to be is I help people out, because I really do take a lot of pride in helping people out and being there for people. And it's not just it's not my sponsee's calling me. It's not just a spiritual. It's not a principle that I practice. It's a lifestyle that I want to live by. I can make it a thing, a staple in my life that I really, really live by. And if I stay connected to it and I believe in it, it'll carry me through recovery and through my relationships. and through every season of my life, and it'll give me, more purpose, more passion, and more love that I can give. So as long as I'm giving it, I'm receiving it. Love you, man.
Okay, when we trust the flow of giving and receiving, scarcity loses its grip. How has faith in abundance replaced old fears of not enough? So, I've really experienced a massive amount of fear, we almost lost our place this year, man. Like, it was a fucking reality. And when the great resurrendering of March 2025 came, and coupled that with praying gratitudes, even for incremental tininesses in the universe, and sometimes even just for the faith, praying gratitude for the faith of that thing working out, the anxiety is just gone, you know? Surrendering just changed it all. So I'm trading a surrender for freedom, right? That's a reciprocity right there. I'm surrendering my fears for faith, for freedom. So it's like what I used to want, right? Like the scarcity. Think about when you're about to run out, Andrew. Like, back in the day, that was like, got to call, got to line up, got to, blah, 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 blah. And it was all like, it all had to line up, man. And if it wasn't going to, it was like, how am I going to make it through those hours? Really? And now it's just like, first of all, I could probably do a day without food. I have not had to. I have not had to, but I have shelter. I have warmth. I have food. I have water. I have my home. Like, my immediate, like, compulsive trigger needs, like, and especially to, honestly, like, getting rid of the cigarettes. The cigarettes were like almost like a mental part of where I was with the drugs, because it's just like needing that nicotine fix. It was just still keeping me in the ring with an addiction that was, and so it's just like the air is enough, exercise is enough, rest
The
is
air is
enough.
enough. I love
Yeah,
that. The air is enough.
the air is enough. Like I literally don't have to put something on fire just to breathe and be happy, you know? And so
Amen.
it's like it's given me a freedom from fears stronger than ever.
Right.
And I know that there's enough. I know that there's enough for us all to be drinking from the horn of plenty. And I certainly love you. And this was a
Love you
great
more,
one.
man. Love you.
I'm looking forward to Friday. Everybody out there, tune in. Tommy S. is gracing us with his presence. We got a great
Remember,
topic for that day.
Mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open, guys.
Whoa.
Love you.
I love you too.
bro.
Okay, everybody out there, tune in next episode for more
guys.
recovery fun. Bye-bye. I love you. Welcome anytime. Please help us help others. If you've liked what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.